Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, January 11th, around 11 a.m. Mountain Time 2022. Some big stories to cover: the Northeast, record cold for the next few days, and a storm system developing for the entire East Coast that could be record breaking. The big story: Leavenworth is running out of places to put its record breaking snowfall. Keep calm. It's boom time. Now, Leavenworth's in Washington State, and they have been shoveling for 4 straight days. Do you have any extra space? Would you like some snow? The faux Bavarian alpine town on the eastern slope of the Cascades is still struggling to dig itself out Monday after more than 4 feet of snow in 48 hours, clogging streets and shuttering businesses. Can you believe that? Business owners and the National Guard and the city has been plowing and hauling 24 hours a day for 4 days, and there's still more snow to go. And another atmospheric river is headed to Washington. What could go wrong? Well, another atmospheric is set to soak the Puget Sound area Monday night through Wednesday, making at least the 6th time in just under 2 months that this type of weather event, an atmospheric river, has occurred in western Washington. They've suffered some severe flooding and damage, and residents are worried about what's coming.
The insulation is barely up in Trina Enz's home, but she's already wondering if there's any point.
Because you don't want to put new stuff in if you think it's going to flood again.
She was rescued back in November when nearly half a meter of water swallowed her Sumas Prairie trailer home. She's moved 6 times since, while repairs are underway. Now, news of another atmospheric river.
Oh no, not again. And will this be the future? What will happen in the spring? Is this what we're going to go through all the time?
The good news is forecasters say this round of wet weather will be different.
We're not expecting quite as much rain for places like the Fraser Valley with this system. The heaviest rainfall amounts will be kind of on the North Shore.
Around 150 millimeters of rain is expected over 2 days on the North Shore of Coquitlam Maple Ridge, with river levels peaking on Thursday. Depending on how and when that rain falls, it could lead to minor or significant flooding, but the piles of snow on the ground are another risk factor.
We are expecting that snow to melt, and there's quite a lot more of that snow available.
So that's the danger. The danger is the current snow on the ground. This is not going to be a big system. It is pretty significant, and it's only going to last for a few days. Here you can see here, the bulk of it is going to come in on Wednesday night, Thursday morning there. And that is your bullseye. So in and around this region and towards the coast, we could see some major flooding, especially with the snow melt. But for most of the state, you're out of the woods. This is the final event in a 6-round fight, and you probably will make it. But we're going to get to the snow soon. Northeast is expecting temperatures well below zero this week. I just checked. 14 records have been broken up in Maine and in New England, and we'll give you the full story in 24 hours after we punch all of the numbers. So bundle up. There's no school today in Boston because of the cold. Now, we've talked about the Snowhole, and that really is a phenomenon. We're in the Snowhole. No measured snow since December. How rare is it to have a snowhole? Well, it's not rare because weather is different than climate. Weather moves around and is different everywhere all the time. And so when you have 50 states, there's going to be an area probably that doesn't get any snow. And in fact, this is this year's Snowhole. Take a look at that. You must be Illinois in Indiana. Yeah, so there is the Snowhole. A lot of people in Ohio complaining about no snow. So very low snow here, but it is not unprecedented. So far, they've had a little snow. It looks like they're going to be getting a little bit more snow here, but that Snowhole is still there in Indiana, for goodness sakes. And let's just check out some of the details here. And there were some dates here. I just lost touch here. So the least snowiest was in 1983 and 1941. And so I figured I'd just check out the solar cycles for that time. And lo and behold, 1983 is right here on the solar minimum of 21 to 22. And 1941, was that the year? Yes. 1941 is here in the solar minimum of 17 to 18. Exactly in the beginning of the minimum where we are between 24 and 25. So we're in the minimum of 17 to 18 when there was no snow. We were in the minimum of 21 to 22 when there was no snow. And now we're in the minimum of 24 to 25 where there's no snow in the Snowhole right there. So take it for what it's worth. dangerous wind chills across the northeast. Heavy rain for Washington state. A chilly air mass will move across the northeast where there will be dangerously cold wind chill temperatures. Heavy rainfall may bring flooding and landslide risk to Washington across the Olympic Peninsula and northern Cascades today. The freezing rain is expected east of the Cascades. Gusty winds may cause hazardous travel in Montana and Wyoming through Wednesday. And then the storm. Is this the storm of the century? Well, in just 12 hours, the models have shifted so drastically. The earlier model showed a strip of 2 feet of snow straight up through southeastern Pennsylvania, like a standard nor'easter, right up the coast. Now it's shifting in multiple directions, but it is showing a gigantic package from the southeast all the way up and through Canada. And this model is not going to be far off because it's beginning in just a few days. The storm is going to line up here Sunday, January 16th, and then that is when it's going to explode and move up the coast. It'll be all done here Monday by Tuesday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on the East Coast is going to be very interesting. So take heed if you're in any of these places on the Kentucky-Tennessee state line, perhaps, looking like heavy snow. Northern and eastern West Virginia, western North Carolina, the North Carolina, Virginia border here, especially towards the mountains. Now, most of the snow is not going to fall on the Appalachian Spine. It's going to fall east of the Spine. It looks like the Blue Ridge Parkway, yeah, and the coastal plain are going to get hammered. And if these numbers stay true, we're going to have record snow in Georgia, record snow in South Carolina, record snow in North Carolina. So maybe some record snow up in upstate New York. We're keeping a close eye on it. These models are going to change, but it's looking like a very high likelihood of something very interesting happening next weekend. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's your lose day right there. So keep your ears peeled and your eyes peeled for more podcasts on Magnetic Reversal News and Oppenheimer Ranch as the models get updated every 6 hours. Hours of power. Seismic update. The world is rumbling. We predicted an uptick in large seismicity because of the inferior conjunction of Venus, which is now past the sun and is now moving away from that conjunction. But we did have multiple 6.6s, a 6.6 in Cyprus that was felt Mediterranean wide from Israel to Greece. And then we have this cacophony of quakes up here in the Aleutians, which was kicked off by a 6.6. I'll never be able to grab it. There it is. We also have a 6 magnitude in the mid-ocean ridge. None of these large quakes in populated areas, but this one gave me pause because it happens to be right where we were talking about a supervolcano. In fact, an enormous supervolcano may be hiding under Alaska Islands, and that's by Cleveland Volcano. I don't know if you saw this podcast, but a new study suggests a wide crater, a supervolcano, may be beneath the Aleutians. And it's exactly in this location where Cleveland is, which is exactly in the location of this seismicity. So these islands to the north of the seismicity is the potential spot for that supervolcano. And, well, we're going to keep a close eye on this seismicity, as very few people felt any of that. And that's just the facts of it. Now, we've had a huge coronal mass ejection shoot off the back side of the sun, thankfully, not towards Earth. And almost no one's going to report on that because it has no geo effect. It's not going to hit Earth. Nothing's going to happen here. But if it did, oh, that's a big one. And this spot or that system is going to be turning around the limb in just about 7 days, 8 days, and it'll start facing Earth. So we're going to keep a close eye on that for you. Worldwide volcano news update. Nothing at all going on in the world of volcanoes that's interesting in the last 48 hours. All normal activity, including Iceland. Basically just all seismicity dropping off a cliff. We've got some large quakes here and here, above 3 magnitude. Just a few quakes on the Reykjanes Ridge, but nothing showing anything imminent on Iceland. A couple of fun things to finish up. U.S. issues do not travel warning for Canada. Thank God. After what Trudeau said live on air, basically should make everyone in Canada want to leave now and no one from the U.S. to travel to Canada. It has a lot to do with what we call mass formation psychosis. I'm sure over the last 3 days you've heard a lot about it, and most of you have no idea what they're talking about. Well, it's not hard to understand. We're going to do an entire podcast on Rumble in a day or so on the topic and what it means for the future of humanity. We'll leave you links below here so you can read about what mass formation psychosis is to get yourself up to speed before the podcast. Hope you got something out of the video. Boom! We've got a huge storm brewing on the East Coast, and it could be record-breaking. We could see multiple states with record-breaking totals here, and the models are just coming in. But whatever is happening in just 5 days should be spectacular. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Keep an eye to the channels for updates on the imminent storm. That's a boom. We love you. Be safe.